KZN Grade 10, November 2023, Paper 2. So for question 1, this is a data handling question. The data shows the marks for a mathematics test written out of 50 by 15 learners. And then we'll ask some questions on the data, but the first thing we want to do is make sure that the data is in ascending order. Then I want to make sure I've written every number, so I have 11, 14, 16, 19, 20, 23, 25, 27, 28, 34, 37, 37, 40, 43, and 49. Okay, so now we can get into the questions. So for the first one, we're asked to calculate the range for the data, and the range is the biggest number minus the smallest number, so that is 49 minus 11, and that's just 38. Then we're asked to determine the median mark, so the median, which is also Q2, is the middlemost number, so we can do this. So my median is 27. Then we're asked to calculate the interquartile range. So now I want Q1 and Q3, which is the lower quartile and the upper quartile. So I do that by first going to my median, which was 27. So this is the middle of the data. Then the Q1, the lower quartile, is the middle of the lower half of the data. So I'm going to be looking at these numbers and finding the median of this lower group. And then for the Q3, the upper quartile, I want to find the median of this upper group from the median that I already had. So for this lower group, I just do the same thing. So I'm going to have this, and my Q1 is 19. And then for the upper group, same thing, and my Q3 is going to be 37. So my interquartile range is my upper quartile minus my lower quartile. We said this one was 37 and this one is 19. So the interquartile range is 18. And then finally, we're asked to draw a box and whisker diagram. So I'm going to start with my min and max. So my max was 49, which is here. And my min was 11. That is here. Then I want my Q2, which was 27. And my Q1 was 19. And Q3 was 37. So the Q1 and the Q2 and the Q3 makes up the box. And then my whiskers join them to the max and the min. So question 2, employees who use company cars were asked to record the number of kilometers they travel to and from work each day. The table shows the results. So this table says that there were 4 employees who traveled between 5 and 10 kilometers. There were 7 employees who traveled between 10 and 15 kilometers, and so on. So first we want to know how many employees there were. That's just the sum of this column here, because this is telling us the amount of employees who traveled in each of these distance ranges. So we get our total employees by adding up these people, and we get that to be 45. Okay, then we want to estimate the mean distance traveled. So we know that the mean is x bar, and x bar is equal to the sum of the x's times the frequency divided by the sum of all the frequencies. So the frequencies are these, and then my x values are here. But because I've got a range of values for each of the x values, right? This is x that's between these two numbers, between these two numbers, between these two numbers. I'm going to use the midpoint to get my x times the frequencies. So in this table, I'm going to write the midpoints of each of these classes. So for this one, it's going to be 7.5, 12.5, 17.5, 22.5, 27.5, and 32.5. And then for this midpoint times frequency column, I'm going to take the frequency here times these midpoints here. So for 4 times 7.5, I get 30. For 7 times 12.5, I get 87.5. And we just continue like that. Okay, and then going back to finding x bar, so I want the sum of x times f, which is these numbers here, the x times f. So I want to add them all together to get my numerator. And then I want to divide it by the sum of f, which is the sum of the frequencies. That's the total number of employees that we found for the first part. So when I add all of these together, I get 837.5, and then the sum of the f I already know was 45. And I put this in my calculator, and I get 18.61, and this is kilometers. Right, then I'm asked to write down the modal class. So the modal class is the one that has got the most frequencies of people. So I can see that the most number of employees in any one class is 18, and that's for this class here. So the modal class is 15 less than equal to x less than 20. Then in which interval does the median distance lie? So remember that the median is my middlemost number. So if my total if the total number of employees is 45, then my middlemost number of employees is 22.5. So I want to find where, as I add these numbers together, where's the first class that I have 22.5. So in the first class, I only have 4. Then in the first 2 classes, I have 4 plus 7, which is 11. Then in the first 3 classes, I have 4 plus 7, which is 11, plus 18, which is 29. So 29 is bigger than 45 over 2. That was my 22.5. So the 22.5th position is definitely going to be after this class, because after these 2 classes, because these 2 classes only had 11 people. But then when I go past this class here, I have 29 people. So that means that the 22.5 position would belong in this class here. All right, then the last part, calculate the percentage of employees who travel at least 25 kilometers in a day. So at least 25 kilometers in a day is 25 or more. And I want the percentage of employees. So I'm going to have all of the ones who travel at least 25, so 25 or more, divided by the total number of employees, which is 45, we found in the first part, and then times 100, because it asks for percentage. So the ones that travel more than 25 are all of the ones after this class. You see here that the 25 is not included. So these people travel less than 25. Then from here, these people travel equal to 25 and more than. And then these ones are equal to 30 and more than, which is also more than 25. So it's just the number of people in these two classes. 3 plus 3 is 6. So I'll have 6 over my total number of people was 45. And that is times 100 to make it a percentage. And that is equal to 13.33%.